If you're having Formula One withdrawal, then you are in the right place. It's been a while since we talked about the sensational 7-time world champion, so let's have a major throwback to the time when Sebastian Vettel annoyed the heck out of Michael Schumacher. Looks like I'm not the only one that gets their nerves picked on by 12-year-olds, because Sebastian Vettel was a literal child-sized headache for Michael Schumacher during practice. The German duo had always shared a very special bond ever since Vettel started his junior career in karting. And if you don't know, Schumacher was the young driver's mentor, which is why the German media dubs Vettel as Baby Schumi. And Baby Schumi not only made it to Formula One, but he marked his name as a 4-time world champion, 3 titles less than his mentor. Throughout his karting career, Schumacher knew that there was something special about Vettel, so he always followed whatever the young karter was doing in his races. So much that he revealed to the public that during his mentorship days, there was only one student who made life difficult for him. And you guessed it, it was Sebastian Vettel. From those moments on, he knew that the young German was going to be a future star. And, along with a future star, he achieved something else as well. The opportunity to race his own mentor, Michael Schumacher. I mean, yeah, it's true that Sebastian made his debut in the year that Michael retired, but luckily for us, they still managed to share the grid on multiple occasions. All thanks to Schumacher's return in 2010 when Vettel and Red Bull were dominating on the track. And Schumacher spent the rest of his career in a Mercedes overlooking his protege, where he witnessed his own student win not 1, not 2, but 3 world championship titles. He must have felt like a proud father, to the point that he used to let the Red Bull driver pass him on the racetrack just to see him get up on the podium. But, as we all know about the unfortunate skiing incident, Schumacher has never been the same. But all things considered, both the Germans are still close to each other. Not just that, we've got another Schumacher on the grid, and Vettel took it upon himself to return the favor Michael did for him during his karting years. And that is to act like a mentor to his son, Mick Schumacher. Just like how Michael backed up Vettel, the 4-time champion is probably Mick's biggest fan. When he says that the 23-year-old is hot stuff in the Formula One market and will make it big in the business. Though Vettel bid his farewell by the end of 2022, he's still going to be on Mick's side for now. Unless, of course, he pulls a Schumacher move and makes a comeback. Then, we might see another era of Vettel racing with another Schumacher. But wait, speaking of eras, did you ever consider the 7-time world champion to be a team principal? It's alright, you don't have to, because back in the day, Michael Schumacher rejected the offer to become Ferrari's team boss. And that's not cap. So, even if you're the fastest racer on the planet, you may not be the best suited for a management position. But since Michael was offered such a high role, does that mean that he was different from other drivers? Probably. Jean Todt, who was Schumacher's team boss at Ferrari, literally offered his job to the German, just so he can make him stay in the sport. Not gonna lie, that's kinda cute. But not cute enough, because Schumacher didn't wait long until he rejected that offer and let Stefano Domenicali take over the overbearing role from 2008 to 2014. And according to Todt, Schumacher was the best candidate for the role. But instead of that position, he decided to act as an advisor to the driver, Felipe Massa, while helping the team in their fight with McLaren in 2007 and 2008. And honestly, being an advisor was the better decision, because usually the F1 fandom always points the accusatory finger at the team principal whenever there's a mess up with the strategies. But hang on, Ferrari wasn't the only team that gave Schumacher an offer. That's right, Mercedes also wanted Schumacher on their side. It's probably true when they say that Schumacher only returned because of his good old friend, Ross Brawn. And honestly, thanks Brawn, we got to see more of Schumacher, and we could have gotten even more. When Schumacher was about to retire once again by 2012, the Mercedes boss tipped the German for a role in management in the team. He found it possible because, with Michael's experience of motor racing and his judgment about the strategies, he would have been an excellent team boss. But then again, if he rejected his 10-year-old companion Ferrari, then rejecting Mercedes was not a surprise. It's no doubt that Schumacher loves every part of the sport, the racing, the engineering, and just seeing how the team works. But had it not been for his unfortunate skiing accident in 2013, it would have been highly likely that Schumacher would have been involved with Mercedes, or even possibly returned to Ferrari. So, Schumacher was a revolutionary guy. He had his own era, and he sure would have been an asset to Ferrari because they definitely need a little bit of Schumacher wisdom, and that's pretty apparent today, considering how many times Ferrari can't decide on which team boss they need. Like how Mattia Binotto regrettably left the squad because of the pressure. Can you guys believe it? The guy who was considered the engine by the 7-time world champion has officially resigned from the Italian team. For Schumacher, the Italian engineer was the third most important guy, and now, after 4 years of leadership, Binotto shoomed his way out of the team. Although the 53-year-old was the reason that resurrected the Italian team and got them to win pole positions in Grand Prix, it still wasn't enough. And the fact that Binotto changed the work culture of the team didn't help his position at all. So basically, all shortcomings came under the responsibility of the team boss. So there was no blame game whatsoever. But by the end of 2022, Binotto didn't want to be the only guy playing the game. And guys, let's be real. Binotto's leave will bring Ferrari into a new phase in Formula 1, especially when their new team principal is Frédéric Vasseur, who is previously the boss of Alfa Romeo. So, 2023 will be a pretty interesting year, especially with all the new recruits and team changes. Though, I know that some of you would have really wanted to see Michael Schumacher as Ferrari's team boss. But what would Ferrari look like if Schumacher was in charge? Not being their own enemy, I hope. As a guy who basically lived on the track for 19 seasons, I'm pretty sure that he'd know his way around the track. Like when to brake or when to accelerate. He'd be more of a race instructor than a team boss. And honestly, that works too. We don't know exactly how Michael would be like if he was a team boss. But with the few glimpses we get every time Mick lets us in on the expert Schumacher advice, it just makes sense why he got 2 top teams offering him big bucks. But all in all, the legacy of Michael will keep on breathing through Mick. And this time, it's in a Mercedes. Maybe the end of Michael's era was meant to start off Mick's era. And oh boy, do we want to see Mick take revenge on Vettel for the karting mentorship days. So that's a wrap, and see you in the next video.